Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Deborah Eckerling, goal strategist, book proposal specialist, author of books on, yes, author of Your Goal Guide and 52 Secrets for Goal Setting and Goal Getting, and also a podcast, a host. You can't reach your goals on your own. You need your people. So every week I bring together some of my people. And a month ago, I did a goal chat on sci-fi. And it was basically us hanging out, geeking out over sci-fi. And I'm like, that was so much fun. I need to do it again. And I was talking with Carrie Murray, who's a friend / client, and talking about millennials are killing musicals. And we're like, musicals. It's almost the Tonys. Let's have a musicals party. So if you landed here on purpose, great. If you landed here on accident, even better. But I love this idea that wouldn't life be better if everything was a musical, which we will get into. But first, let me introduce my panel, which they're all involved with Millennials Are Killing Musicals. We've got Kristin Hanggi, who is the illustrious director, Nico Juber, who is the creator. So you did all of the things.
I did all the
You did all of the things, and Carrie Murray, one of the co-producers. And okay, first of all, and I have to admit, I grew up, I auditioned for all the musicals in high school. I'm a little bit behind on my musicals watching, but I still, if ever a song comes on that is from a musical, I just feel like it makes my day. And that is, I'm going to tie it into goals. When you're in a better mood, you're more motivated, right, to do the goal things. Enough about me geeking out about you all when you haven't even introduced yourself. And if you're watching, you might be watching us as GoalChat Live. You might be watching the replay. You might be listening to us as GoalChat on the Marketing Podcast Network. No matter how you found us, we are so glad you're here. And another thing is, unless it's on purpose, my guests don't know each other. Today it is on purpose that they totally do. So let's start out with you, Nico, since you are the goddess behind Millennials Are Killing Musicals. Do share. Who are you?
I'm Nico Juber. I write book, music, and lyrics, so the whole thing for Millennials Are Killing Musicals. I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm a mom of two girls and had my millennial existential crisis about 8 years ago, which is when I started writing musicals, even though I've always been a songwriter, always been a comedy writer. It really started coming together for me at that point in my career. I had worked in high-tech marketing for over a decade and kind of just found my creative voice again. And so have been working on this show. I have a couple of other shows in development, and one called Winner. But this one this is the first child. So the first child, you're figuring it out as you go along. Second kid, you're like, they're fine in the back seat with a dirty pacifier. But the first one, you're really forging your path. And we just had a world premiere production at the Colony Theater in Burbank in Los Angeles, and we're continuing our path forward. So it's just been a really wild and exciting time, and it was super exciting to get the show up in front of real audiences in LA.
I would imagine, as an author, when you literally pour yourself into the books that you write and then putting them out into the world, it would have to be like 10, 20, a gazillion times more nerve-wracking to present in front of a live audience. Am I right?
It is, yeah. I'm, during the course of the run that we had, my job as writer is in there to be watching for reactions and listening what jokes are landing, what's not landing. But I have a funny thing happen where I get nervous as though I'm in the show. I feel like I'm going to forget my lines, and it's a weird feeling. It's the only thing I can describe it as, but it's really exciting, and it is rewarding in a very different way than anything else, because you do get that live, real-time interaction with an audience that only really theater can give you.
Amazing. Well, I am really excited to geek out more about musicals, but let's meet Kristen next. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, so who are you and why the show?
So I'm a director. I also write and produce, and I love making new musicals. I almost exclusively direct new musicals, which anyone who's ever done a musical, especially a brand new one, knows it's quite an incubation period, and they take a while to figure out, and each musical has its own path and its own way that you get it into the world. But it's very fun and very collaborative because there's so many different parts and so many different people. It's quite a big team. So, I love making art with a large group of people. It's like my passion in life.
Amazing, right? Because, well, I say you can't reach your goals on your own, you need your people. You definitely can't make a musical on your own because you need the right people behind it. What was it that attracted you to this show?
Oh, well, it was really, I mean, when I heard the title, I laughed. And then I heard the music and I was like, oh, the music's good. And then I met Nico and I was just charmed by Nico. She's such a force of nature and she's smart and she's funny. And I often say when you're making a new musical with someone, it's like you're getting married to them because you're going to spend the next few years of your life in like the best times and also like the most stressful times together. And when I first met her, she just felt like a long lost sister, and we just had a beautiful chemistry together. And I could tell we both cared about women's stories and also about women being creatively expressed in the world. And what I saw in her story was the story of a woman trying to find her voice and trying to find her authentic voice in the world. And that theme just really resonated with me.
Amazing. And I have a feeling our friend Carrie Murray is going to echo those sentiments because I know she is all about the voice. So,
Yes.
am I right or am I right?
Yeah. And also, anytime witches convene, my little black cat is just like, oh, are we having witchy time?
Oh, she knows. She knows what's happening here.
Yeah, this is Luna. So we're going to say goodbye to her. But yes. First off, I'm a huge fan of musicals, grew up loving watching musicals. Could never be in them because I can't sing a note. I was always wanted to be the dancer in the background on Grease. But part of my background is I started a network called the BRA Network, Business Relationship Alliance, BRA, that lift and support women entrepreneurs. And there are not a lot of women in musical theater on Broadway right now. We don't have a lot of writers. We don't have a lot of directors. And when I heard about this combination coming together, I was like, yes. Luckily this Tony season, there are women nominated, which is very exciting. If you are watching this and you're a fan of musicals, anybody watching this, I'd love to know, like, comment what's your favorite musical. But so for me, it was empowering women. It was meeting Nico and the creator and songwriter and doing all of that. And then knowing that Kristen was going to be tied to it. And I was just like, yes, let's have a women focused musical that is directed, produced. I'm all for that because it is a white man's world on Broadway. There might be gay, but it is a white man's world to this day. Like, find a theater that's not owned by a white woman, a white man. I would. So I'm on board for that. And of course, I'm obsessed with musicals, especially this one. It warmed my heart the first time I read the script. Like, I was like, I'm in.
Amazing. And also, why don't you share who you are? You mentioned BRA Network,
but I'm Carrie Murray.
All about I was lucky enough. I was on Carrie On, your podcast recently. Yes. I will, if you go to thedebmethod.com/plug and read the recap, I will definitely be including that link as well. But you're not just a dog in the dog. You're like, oh, can I support women? Can I highlight them? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, right? So I do have a web series and podcast called Carry On. It is a play on my name, the word Carrie. And I carry on with women over 40 who want to be disruptors, game changers, and talk about all the uncomfortable things that comes from being over 40 and being a woman. Everything from financial security to investing to your pelvic floor to parenting your parents to, grief stricken, all the uncomfortable topics. My episode's launch every Wednesday, and tomorrow's episode is all about white women and white supremacy. So it's like, clutch your pearls, ladies. We got a hot topic coming in.
And if you are listening to this after Thursday when it's released, it was yesterday.
Great.
Right?
Tune in.
It's
Yeah.
the first week in June, but we're. I think, and this is a big reason why I do this show. And the other day, no, it wasn't the other day. It was Nico who said, "Is it all women on your panel, or can I invite a guy?" And I'm like, "You can invite a guy, but most of my panels are. It's just the way that it is worked out. Usually, there are every now and then I do have an all male panel, but it is also me, so it is never. But a lot of these conversations are because I love uplifting voices. And what's better way to uplift voices than with music? See what I did there? Do you remember when your love affair with musicals started? Do you
Me?
remember that moment?
Absolutely.
All of
Absolutely.
you, but we'll let Carrie go first because
I didn't mean to steal the floor. Wow. So I don't want to say Annie because I actually didn't watch that until my daughter was little. But I think the first musical that I saw, and I'm sure this is a common answer, that made me just be like, was Sound of Music. I can watch that musical over and over again to this day. It's long, it's like 3.5 hours, and it's Julie Andrews and it's children. Now, when you look at it, you're like, wait a minute, she's a nut. What's happening? Like, wait, those are Nazis. Wait. But at the time, I loved it. I love Sound of Music. That was my first introduction. And then inappropriately, I watched Grease way too young. But
I think we all watched Grease way too young because we watch it later as adults and we're like, oh boy, did all that go over my head, right?
yeah.
I'm with you though. I think Sound of Music must have been the first one because it was on TV every year. So you just saw it. But I think Annie was I still have that memory of going to see Annie as a kid and just being dazzled. So
yeah.
What about you, Nico? What's your earliest musical memory?
It's funny. I feel like similarly, it had to have been movie musicals because I grew up watching similarly Sound of Music, Annie, um, anything. But I also think that the Disney movies were, that I grew up with were musicals, right? Like Little Mermaid and like just so foundational to my understanding of how to tell a story with music and write an I Want song and, all of that. But I definitely was taken to musicals a lot as a kid. I remember seeing Rent when I was probably way too young to see Rent at some point. I also had a little tape, which is very funny. Carrie, Joan Ryan was in Ruthless, which was like one of my favorite shows when I was younger. And I would listen to that tape of Ruthless over and over and over again. So I think just lots of little touch points and then being in shows in school, high school, and having it, I was in The Music Man. So I kind of had it at a couple of different angles. I don't think I had that traditional that I went to a Broadway show, this is it moment. I think kind of it was where, and I didn't mention that my parents wrote musicals. So I would go, I went to North Carolina with my parents for the Gilligan's Island musical town. And like I was there as a kid and seeing all of that happen. So I think I also saw that it was a thing that you could do professionally.
Oh, so this is nature and nurture
Yeah.
simultaneously.
I think it's genetic.
It could be indeed. And so before we jump over to Kristen, we've got Leslie Flowers who's watching it live. And she says Carousel is her favorite. And she does 2 live streams a week and always opening them by singing a song, typically from a musical from the 50s. So, and Leslie said she loves supporting women. So be sure everyone here to connect with her after the Zoom. And of course, if you're watching, please connect with us all because we like that. Can't reach your goals on your own. Okay, Kristen, what was that aha musical or first musical moment?
Well, when I was a little girl growing up in Southern California on Channel 5, on the weekends, they would show musicals. So I just remember loving watching all of them. I just remember there was Sound of Music, there was Annie, there was West Side Story, there was Oklahoma, there was just all of them, right? And I just, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, Brigadoon, like just all of them. And I became immediately obsessed. And immediately wanted my little brother to act them out with me. So I would make him learn routines with me, and then I would charge my parents money to come watch us do the routines for musicals. We did a great Guys and Dolls, like we did Adelaide and Nathan back and forth. That was really good. And then eventually I like got all my cousins involved because I realized if I got all my cousins, then I could get my aunts and uncles to come watch. I was inspired very young to not only love it, but also start doing it. And I do remember being in elementary school and seeing my very first musical live that my parents took me to, and just being like, this is the best feeling in the world. Why would anyone do anything else but this? I was very confused by the idea that anyone would want to spend their life doing anything but musicals.
Same.
And what was that first musical?
Oh, it was like I think it was like a, community theater, Orange County musical that was not named. I mean, I don't think that musical is alive. I think it might have been a review, but
isn't it amazing that wouldn't it be lovely if these people knew that their musical that probably was seen for a couple months and never heard from again inspired your career? I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's true. And I do think that when I saw Phantom of the Opera come through, the touring production came through and I went and saw it. I remember when Raoul jumped into the smoke and disappeared, and I thought it was magic. And that's when I think I was like, oh, you can be the person who makes these. So that I remember being very foundational as well.
So Leslie also likes West Side Story. We've got Lisa and Meryl also watching us live, and Jorge between LinkedIn and Facebook. So thank you all. Put your musical favorites or your first earliest musical memory in the chat and give us some viewing options. I remember I auditioned for everything in high school, like literally everything. I was cast as a baseball widow in Damn Yankees my senior year. This is after auditioning for everything they finally found. I'm like, but at the time I could sing, but I'm like Carrie, much better backup dancer now. But I also I remember when I was a freshman, we did Brigadoon. So I did Gru, and decades ago, I still remember the Saturday I spent building the mountains for Brigadoon in our auditorium. So it's like that happy vibe, right? But all musicals aren't, I mean, they've got the happy vibe, but all musicals aren't necessarily happy. I mean, you don't
Sweeney
think of,
Todd.
right?
Carousel's depressing.
Carousel's real dark. Parade. Oh.
Okay, so in our current climate, what music can we write to make things better?
Happy music. I mean, but as you were saying that, during this last process that we had, and I would say all of my shows are comedy and fun and light, but with still heart and a deeper message to it. But the amount of joy that we had in the room, I was like, I don't want to write anything that's sad ever. It was just, we had the best time, and it felt like we were able to escape a little bit and create joy for people in the audience to escape what some may be happening politically. And so I think that that's one of our best pieces of resistance, is continuing to have joy, continuing to tell women's stories and claim them and take up space.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things about millennials is it doesn't take itself too seriously. There are some musicals you see are like, okay, calm down, it's a musical. Like it's okay. But I loved reading the humor because there's intelligence behind it. Like you got to be kind of quick-witted to get it, to pick up on it. And to me, those are my favorite. I love satire. I love anything that's funny or light that I can escape for 2 hours. And I was just in New York and I saw, not a musical, Death of a Salesman. And I knew going into this, like, hold up. Okay. This is going to be dark. This is going to be rough. And the whole time I was like, if they broke in song right now, I would be so much happier. If we could just have a moment. of a little song. But yeah, I'm with Nico. I like the fantasy. I like to step out of the real world and just sit for 2.5 hours and just smile and find the comedy in it. I love it.
Well, and I also think there's a lot of different musicals for a lot of different purposes. So, the great thing is not everyone is processing their emotions on the daily. Not everyone is feeling their feelings on the daily. But I think what theater does is it creates this collective experience where we can all feel together. And the reason I think it's necessary now is that how often do you get to be with a large group of people and feel? So whether we're feeling happy, excited, joyful emotions together, or we're processing some pain together, all has value. And I think like a musical like Hamilton is getting an entire globe thinking politically, saying, I'm not going to give up my shot, like wanting to be active, learning about history. So I feel like all musicals are important and valid. And I see, with my contemporaries, because I've been around the block for a while, that I've also feel like I've grown up with a bunch of theater makers that I've known them since they've gotten out of college, and now we're all in midlife. And to watch the careers of people and to see what they're creating is the opportunity to have high level conversations about who we are as a collective and what are the cultural myths that we're telling. Because the interesting thing about musicals is, once they premiere in New York and then they tour and they get licensed, those cast albums go all over the world. And young people do those shows, right? They do them in their community theaters and in their schools. So stories nurture us and we learn from them. So just like those, Disney movies Nico was talking about, we sing those songs over and over and they get inside of us. So that's why I think musicals are actually really important, and they're, as Nico said, a great tool of resistance in our world.
I feel like you all answered this question just now before. It's like the psychic powers are working today. But if you had to bottom line it, and you might have to repeat yourself, what is it about musicals that make them so exciting, universal themselves?
I do feel like we kind of. I'll bring up something that happened during rehearsal. We had the astronauts were coming back from their mission, and every day I was emotional about the astronauts. It was just like really hitting me, and I was thinking about how, especially we had a woman up there. It was great, but I was thinking about how everything has to work with such precision. You've got mission control, you've got everybody, everyone has to work together to make this amazing thing happen. And certainly getting a musical up is not putting people up in space, but when you see a production of a musical, you've got you've got stage manager calling thousands of cues. You've got projection, everything has to working. The actors are working. It's all happening in real time to stick the landing, And so I think it just kind of hit me that I think you get that sense of everyone works together as a collective to make this thing happen and to have a shared experience. And so I think I don't know what other art form is like that. I mean, obviously live performance in general, but I think there's just something about the way that musicals tell it's our art form in the US. We have very few art forms that we made. It's one of our few ones that's this like really amazing combination of capitalism and art and like them informing each other and coming up with something that's like really time tested and it takes a long time. So when you see something just really work, I don't think there's anything like it.
Yeah, I mean, my response to that is it's live. For me, what's great about a musical is, yes, from Nico's right, from the person who takes that ticket to the dancer and the lead on the stage, it is a whole community that has to come together at the exact same time, at the exact same pacing, and they do it over and over and over again, 8 shows a week, but it's live. You go in and we don't know, as the audience, like, oh, this time she tripped on that, or this time he said this line before. But the actors know, the crew knows, and that like tight little community that's backstage is like, oh my God, I flubbed that line. But us as the audience are just like, we are watching people live. This is why AI will never replace them. We want to see real breathing human beings doing the things that we wish we could do. Like, I wish I could be up on that stage and doing it. That's what I love. Is like, I can't, every musical, I'm like, which role would I play? But it is, for me, it's seeing live theater, seeing people live and being in an audience with people and just laughing at the same things and just experiencing it. I love the live part of it.
And I love the wish fulfillment thing you just said, because who doesn't see an amazing performance and be like, wouldn't that be so cool if that was me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Kristen.
Oh, I would say why I like watching it is there's an element of magic that occurs, right? The way that it can bend time and bend space, and we can go in and out of reality. I remember seeing Sam Mendes' Cabaret and being like breathless as I watched it because of this, like, the energy of magic that you can feel in the room, and that to me is like, it's electricity, it's current, it's with the dance, it's with the music, it's with the pace, it's with the pulse. And then why I love making them is because of community problem solving. I love when there's like 100 people and we're all trying to make a thing. We're all trying to figure out how to do it, and it's never been done before. And when everyone brings their talents and their gifts and we talk about it together and figure out how to do it, even if we come up against conflicts and obstacles, that to me is like a microcosm of how society could work. And that's what I love about musicals.
Well, this is like I said, psychic powers. One of my questions that I was going to get to later is the energy of musicals. So I love that you brought that up, because there's really, it's like pixie dust, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly that. You feel it. It's like when you know it's working, you know?
It's really when they're, I'm just gonna tag on to that. Like when something is working, I don't know what else feels like that. And I'm a painter. I can draw, like there's all kinds of, obviously I'm a musician. I've done lots of kinds of art, and just there's something about when a musical is like really in the pocket. There's just nothing that I've ever felt like that. And whether an audience member or as a creator. So I think it's definitely an addictive pixie dust. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I was doing Rock of Ages, we had the pleasure of getting to do it all over the world, multiple productions. And there's a few moments in the show where the audience just squeals. And what was interesting is no matter what country we did the show in, the squeal was the same. Like you could play it on the keyboard, like the note was the same, like the audience pitch of this like moment. It was just so joyous and unexpected. And I was just like, what is that? It's just like in us. And so discovering those things, that is part of that pixie dust energy.
Yeah.
Were you going to jump in with anything else, Carrie?
Oh, I was going to say the energy for me is like when you meet someone outside the theater, like when I first met Nico and Kristen and I literally was like, so, what's like everybody's favorite musical and everything. It's when you're like, oh, I saw that too. Like, oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, what about this song? Did you notice this little beat that they took? Like that to me is the energy. It's the after you see it. And I know I've seen a good musical when I leave and I'm singing the songs. I'm going home. The next day I wake up and I'm in the shower. I'm like, oh, I can't get this damn song out of my head. So then when you meet someone like weeks later or a month later, and I said, oh, have you seen Millennials Are Killing Musical? Yeah, I'm basic. Yeah. And then you just start singing the song. You're like, yeah. That to me is the energy. It's after seeing it. It's what happens later.
Well, and it's almost like when you all were doing your intros of your musical aha moments, my brain was clicking. Oh, I remember my experience with this. Oh, I remember that thing. Oh, when I saw this, I did. So I often say that food is a common topic of conversation, but after today, I think we can also argue that there's a shared experience when you're talking musicals, right? Even people
Yeah.
who don't have an opinion about musicals or who don't watch them have an opinion. They're wrong for not watching them, but everybody has an opinion. Have you found that?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
it's very polarizing. People
Mhm.
either love musicals or they hate them.
Yeah, I should have known when my ex-husband said he doesn't like musicals. I should have been out.
Yeah.
And it's
The only
funny
one I got
too.
him to go to was the only one I got him to go to was Book of Mormon and Hamilton. He was like, "Yeah, they're okay." And I'm like, "We got to break up."
You should have. The signs were there.
Who knew?
Who knew?
And it's funny too because obviously a musical is a play, and I like a good play. Like I will go to the plays. I don't think a play is feel the way that a musical has. So like a play, some plays with music, maybe like Stereophonic I loved, and maybe it's the music
Yeah.
element of it, but there's just again it's that combination of things. I don't know. That plays are good too, but I just it's a different thing.
Well, and on LinkedIn, the chat is kind of blowing up with, "Oh, my favorite musical is this." So I love Theater's the Ultimate Mastermind. And I'm not going to take our time reading all the comments, but I would encourage you to go back through because there's definitely some enthusiasm for musicals going on in the chat. And we love, whether you're here live or watching the replay, we love that you love musicals enough to spend time with us today. What you were talking about before, Nico, about the magic of everything coming together and when you're working on the music and like it's like such a vibe. I get that sometimes with when I'm writing my books, but there's got to be nothing like it having it as a shared experience. I mean, it's one thing for you to be in the flow of creating something, and another when you're in this flow creating it with a group, and then everybody's like, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's probably maybe the closest would be if you were doing a book reading, right? And you're in with an audience and they're hearing it and you're getting to see them react to it. But sometimes I go back. So there's in our show and Millennials Are Killing Musicals, there's a song called Who I Am, and people can go listen to it. It's on Spotify. And I have a voice note of me sitting and playing it. Like it kind of came out in one big shot when I wrote it. It was like one of those download, I was in a flow state. So it came out pretty close when I was writing it. But I go back and listen to it, and then I'd go in the room with, we had Emma Hunton, who's an incredible singer, been on Broadway multiple times, singing the song, and with the orchestrations and the live band and the backup singers and the lighting and the projections, it's like it's a different stratosphere of me and my little voice note. So I a lot of the time feel like a sketch artist of the thing, and that everyone else is there to shade it and color it in and make it three-dimensional. So it is really an unbelievable experience that I don't know. Again, I can't compare it to anything else because and I know Kristen, as because you've done both, you are also a writer, and so you've had that experience too of seeing it come to life in that way. And I don't know what else I would compare it to.
Yeah, it's thrilling. It's thrilling to have something as like that where you see it in your mind, and then eventually you see it in 3D. It's a wild thing to go, oh, that was a thought, and now it's real. And Deborah, you talk about goals, and I think that's like one of the fun things too is it's like goal setting with a team around art, and so even now, as we've done the production in Los Angeles and we're looking to do the show in New York, and we're setting our next milestones, it's so fun to with those plans as well, right? Like just like how when Nico writes a song, it's a sketch of what it will be one day. same thing with our, our plans for our musical. We're making these sketches and then we're breathing life into them. And that, I think that is part of the fun of being human. And like when Carrie, when you're talking about, that's why we know we have job security in theater, because it's live. It needs our humanity. It thrives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and I love this comment. It's goal setting with the team around art. So, Nico, how would you extrapolate off of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think even, Kristen was talking about on like even on the producing side, because we have a couple processes happening in parallel now, right? And I think one of the reasons, I mean, Carrie, Kristen, and I think we're all goal setters. We're all kind of like, okay, this has to happen and this has to happen. Project managers, right?
Right.
But
it's the ultimate project, right?
for
managing.
It's the ultimate project. So we have parallel processes on the producing side of, we're growing our team. What does this team look like? What is our, what are we raising for this next round? And we're crystallizing that plan. And then at the same time, Kristen and I are going, okay, we're meeting with these people this week. Let's work backwards. We're doing a table reading on this date. We're, for the next draft has to be done by this time. And so that way we can get orchestrations updated. And so it's very project based and very goal based. And it inevitably, I think that I'm a huge proponent of the idea of the producing artist, which Kristen is one and I am one, that you have to understand what the parameters are of the business in order to, effectively move the business of it forward.
And I think Nico said it perfectly. A musical is a business. Ultimately is what it comes down to. And there are businesses that are super successful that can go on and on and on, like The Lion King and Wicked. And this business, it's just on autopilot. When you're starting out and you're grassroots, you're looking for people to believe in you, just like you are when you're starting a business. You're looking for people to invest in you. You're looking to hone in what you're selling, the branding of it behind it, and the packaging. And from when we started with millennials to where we are now, it is night and day. And it's just like you've seen your little baby grow. And it's so exciting. But that's also part of the reason why I love being a part of this. Is I like the business. I like the growth side of it because I can't be the talent. But
I don't know. I kind of feel like someday we will see you in a cameo or in the background in a dance scene or something, right?
Right. Okay, I'll have a walk on and I'll just smile.
Well, I remember, so I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and Jahoni and Tina's wedding, I think it started there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like this big wedding party and everybody was part of it. Or there'd be, maybe it wasn't a musical, but there was another like murder mystery. So all kinds of theater when you can make it interactive. I feel like with musicals, it's interactive even when you're in the audience. Because
but you can't sing though. We just say that if you're in the audience, you don't get to sing.
You don't get to sing.
No.
But you're part of the experience, right?
Oh,
if it's a musical, it doesn't need to be an interactive thing. You are already part of it.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, and Kristen and I have talked about, I know she told me until she saw the show when we did our reading in January, like until you hear the audience laugh and how the show interacts with laughter, you don't know what this show is. Like it's and I think we saw that even during this production, and then even it was exciting to see over the course of the run once we started getting word of mouth and really people in there who had been referred by other people who loved the show. It was like, oh, okay, we found our people now, and they're getting every joke, and it's really landing. So just to see that kind of play out and that relationship that the actors give more when they're getting more, it's just really, it's very cool and dynamic.
Well, that is, because I do a lot of speaking, that I will say is you get a crowd and the vibe, and there's absolutely nothing like it when they're just like loving and getting what you've got out there. It elevates the energy for everybody, for sure. I feel like since the Tonys are coming up, we should talk about them. So do you have any favorites or predictions? Carrie's, if you're just listening, Carrie's doing the thing with her hands where she's like, and I just realized I described it by doing another visual cue. So forgive me. So Carrie, what's on your mind?
Oh, I mean, I really have to think about it. I can say, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, this was like one of the smallest musical seasons. Like I think they only released 6 musicals this year, and a lot of them were based on movies. I think there was only one original, and now I can't think of the name of it.
Two Strangers.
Two Strangers, you know, a musical with only 2 actors. I mean, I think that's really impressive. But for me, I'm actually looking at a play called Liberation. That was also written by a woman, starred all women, directed by a woman. It's a play though, and I was really profoundly like blown away. Similar to Nico, I prefer musicals, and I went to this play kind of like, okay. And then I was really blown away by it. And I love a good revival. So for me, it's Ragtime. I love Ragtime so much. But there's, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the new ones, Beaches, Lost Boys. So I did see Schmigadoon. So if you saw Brigadoon and you want to see Schmigadoon, it's very funny. I love a comedy. It's clever. It's fun. But yeah, so right now my heart is with I think Nathan Lane will absolutely win for Death of a Salesman. But yeah, I hope that Liberation does really well. So that's just kind of like musical wise. I don't know which will win. I'm really kind of torn.
And the musicals, all except for one of them, were based on films. The original musicals that are nominated. Yeah. That's correct. Just almost hilarious.
Yeah,
almost hilarious. I think Nico was about to jump in.
Oh, I think Kristen was.
Kristen was about to jump in. Kristen was about to jump in.
I was going to agree with Carrie that I thought Liberation was brilliant and was so moving and powerful. I also loved Ragtime, and I think that's a really important story for right now. It resonated so deeply, and that production really hit hard. I do think Schmigadoon and Lost Boys will kind of sweep. I think they're going to be big winners. And I thought the costumes and the choreography of Cats, the Jellicle Ball was so joyous. I can't stop thinking about those costumes.
I love that.
I hope they win. I hope she wins, the costume designer. But yeah, I think it'll be a fun Tonys for sure. And I think you'll see a lot of people using their platforms in powerful ways. So I'm excited to watch this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm behind because I've been so heads down in my own show.
You've been a little busy.
Yeah. So some of the shows I saw I saw Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York in London. So I did not see it on Broadway, but I really enjoyed it when I thought I loved the original. I love that, it was a kind of a feel-good show. And then I'm trying to think, like I saw Titanic off Broadway. I haven't seen it on Broadway. I had a great time seeing it. So I know that it's a show that you either love the humor or it's, or it may not be the humor for you. It was definitely for me. I really liked it. But yeah, so I don't have a clear read because I haven't seen the other two that are up for it. And then I saw Ragtime. I thought it was tremendous. So but again, I haven't seen Cats yet. I haven't seen some of them. So, but yeah, loved Ragtime. I think that was kind of most of my. I loved. I thought it was the one play that I saw, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Too.
I want to give a shout out for Titanic as well. It's been so fun to watch the journey of that musical, like just the way it started in LA and then, it grew and grew. That's been so fun just to watch. And I think Eva Price is an amazing producer. And I love Frankie Grande, who's in Titanic.
Oh yeah, that's great. And I have to say, I gave up on Cats like years ago. Cats and Les Mis, I vowed I will never watch those musicals again unless my kid's in it. But then when the Jellicle Ball came out, I was like, now this is innovative. This is what we need. And it kind of like shows you that no matter how old or how dated a musical is, it just needs a great producer, a great way to like change it, a great director to come in and like, let's just jam this up, and it my 19-year-old is obsessed with it. So it creates a whole new audience to love it. I gave up on it, but now I was like, all right, I'm back.
Well, but also think about it. Beaches, Lost Boys, Queen of Versailles, that was like these were all decades ago. Titanic are 4 of the 6 for the original musicals. These are like 80s movies, most of them.
Yeah.
But coming back to what you were saying about musicals as a business, you want people to be your champions, right? But in order to make a business, or we'll go into my realm, a book unique, is you need to find a different spin. You need to find something people have not seen before and say, look, so people like Carrie, who are like over something like, oh, but now it's cool. So I think we live in a time where we get to reinvent ourselves over and over again. So that's another nice little metaphor with the musicals.
And I think that's what makes millennials stand out, is it's already different. It's already starting out challenging the audience. It starts that way. We don't have to reinvent it. And that's what, as an audience member, you're like, oh, I can connect with this right now, even if I'm not a millennial, by the way, but I can connect to it because I was like, oh, we're coming in hot with like new ideas, new focus. Let's go. And it's fun. It's a fun ride.
Yeah. Gen Xers in the house or on the live stream, as it were, for sure.
I think I might be the only millennial here.
Think you
so
are.
It's you don't have to be. It's not, even though it's got millennial in the title. I think the specificity is the thing that makes it universal in this show. So it's got a funny title, but it's a provoking title, and it kind of has a couple of meanings by the time you finish the show.
Okay, and do you want to do a quick where did the title come from? Because I feel like
Yeah, I can talk just generally about the show. So it is a show about where identity meets the algorithm is kind of how we're talking about it in general. It's set in 2019. The lead is a single mom named Brenda who has a 6-year-old who's just started kindergarten. She's ready to get her life back and find love. And then she gets basically kind of targeted by the internet as like, we want to get her on this app and get her addicted to using this app called Instacam. And she, gets reeled in just as her sister, who's an influencer, shows up 8 months pregnant, totally unprepared for motherhood. And so that's the setup of the show. And there's love and there's all kinds of hijinks, but there are 3 basically filters, theatrical filters that would be like on Instagram basically, who are messing with the main women in the show and keeping them from their authentic happiness. And they're all of the evil algorithm and who's calling the shots. So the meaning of the title through the show, the millennials who are at the center of this story are being targeted with this millennial kill list that is meant to sort of wound their egos a little bit, just death by 1,000 cuts, where every time that happens, they get more and more kind of insecure and addicted to the technology. And the title Millennials Are Killing Musicals, it's, we're kind of doing the same thing to you. It's like, wait, am I killing musicals? Do I need to go see that? What are they saying about me? It kind of draws you in the same way that the entities in the show use this kill list to kind of get you to to come in and see it. But we also, I think, by the end, kind of want you to question, what does killing mean? Because killing can mean a lot of different things. So that's the silly title, but the relevant meaning to it.
It's a shame that you do not love this, right? It is literally dripping off of you, which is beautiful. I mean, all of you really excited and enthusiastic, not just about musicals, but about this particular one. But I believe that joy is the way that you need to approach everything, because if you're not feeling joy, what the heck are you doing?
Oh, well, why would I be, thank you, by the way, but why would I be doing this? This is now my full-time gig.
Right. But I'm saying, if you don't feel the way about musicals, that are about what you're doing, the way that Nico feels about this project, the way Carrie feels about Carry Out, the way Kristen feels about the work that she does. And this is something I say frequently, at least to have one thing that you love that much in your life and let that spark carry over to the other stuff. No pun intended, Carrie.
Carry on. Yes.
Carry on. What is next for the show and what is next for each of you? And then we're going to give some goals. So, Kristen, what's going on with you now?
Oh, well, I am deep in it with Nico. We are working on what we learned from our Los Angeles production. So we're doing some deep work on the book this summer as we prep for getting the show ready for New York. And so we're working on the production side and the producerial side. So that is really fun. And then myself, I have a couple other projects that I'm working on, one which I wrote, and some film projects. So I always have my handful of projects I'm working on, and whether it's a musical or a film or a television show, they're all like, I think they're like my babies. I have to I get the pleasure of raising, but they all have different needs and they all go at different paces.
Which is, as a goal person, like the smartest thing you can do, because that way there's a time for everything to be a focus, and then you have something you can always work on if you need energy to bring in to the other things that you're focusing on. I also love how you said before that your specialty is new, that you love working on new things, new voices, because that's just cool. That is all.
I like to do things that haven't been done before. That's what gives me joy.
Yes.
Well, that's what makes you an innovator and a disruptor. Again, something Carrie Murray knows nothing about. What else is going on with you, Carrie?
Well, I'm excited to have these two fabulous women on my show to carry on about. I'd like to focus primarily about women in Broadway, like the legacy, like what we're creating, because these two are literally creating the groundwork for the next generation of my daughter's in school for musical theater, and it's primarily women, but the pocket full of 5 guys are the only people looking for producing, writing, and directing. And so it's like we need more women. They need to see more women in these roles. So they're like, oh, I don't have to only be the star. I can actually write my own thing. So that to me is what my goal is to really open up this industry to more women. I mean, the majority of people who buy tickets are women. Like, look at an audience, it's like women in their 40s. These are the consumers. But so that's really like my long-term thing. I spend the summer consuming. So I watch as many plays, musicals, shows, anything I can consume right now is what I like to do in my summers. And obviously, continuing to be disruptive and make waves with Carry On. And for God's sakes, I'm going on a cruise. I don't know who talked me into it. Everybody send a little prayer out for me. And they're doing 6. So I'm like, okay, there's something I don't need to see again, but I'll go.
Because you're going to be trapped. You might as well.
Yes. But yeah, that's what's immediately ahead. But yeah.
Okay. And Nico, what is, I mean, Kristen kind of spoilered what's next, but did you have something to add?
No, I mean we're in lockstep with each other on what we're doing, and that's pretty much 90%. Just in life, kids are finishing school, and so we're just in that kind of summer transition time. And I mentioned my other show, Winner, that Carrie was one of the producers on the concept album that we put out last year. We have a couple of additional school productions that are on the horizon, and just looking at continuing to get that out in young adult and education spaces. So that's been pretty exciting. But and then occasionally a writing residency or something like that will come up to start noodling on something new. But I think that again, the firstborn is the most needy right now.
Well, I do hope you all keep me posted, because I can have you back as a set, or I'll mix and match you with other people. But I've got I'm getting the good vibes from. Well, Carrie, I've known for a while. I'm fortunate enough to be friends with and working with her on one of her projects. But Nico and Kristen, definitely keep me posted, because 1 year we could be talking about your Tony nomination. You do realize this?
Hell yeah.
You never know.
Okay, on that manifesting note, I would love for each of you to gift a goal to the audience. So what is something someone could do today, tomorrow, immediately? And it could be related to lessons from musicals or actual musicals. Carrie, you've done this before, so I am going to let you goal first. Grown.
Okay.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
That's okay. So my goal for anyone out there right now watching this is to consume art. Go be a participant, go buy the ticket, go to the show, go to the museum. Keep art alive by showing up and paying for it. Don't ask for it for free. So consume art. Art informs so much of our creativity, of our problem solving. It shows, especially children, a world outside of themselves. And it can be so informative. And growing up without myself and my mom being so adamant about me seeing other experiences and cultures, I don't know if I'd be here today. So my goal for everyone is, I don't care what it is, go consume some art.
I think that's awesome. And I did have another flashback, because growing up, that was like my birthday treat, is we would go see a play or a musical.
Yeah.
Because again, also from my mom's influence, to go out there and appreciate art, but to experience it, there's nothing like it. So love it. Nico, what goal are you gifting?
I would say spend just, even if it's 10 minutes a day, doing something creative. It doesn't have to be big or important, and it really can add up. I mean, when I started writing this, it was in 10-minute chunks wherever I could grab it, because my kids were 3 and 5 when I started. So there was not big stretches of time for me to be working. It was in spurts. So I would say, don't discount it. All of these things, whether it's a musical or a book, you can do it in little chunks, and it's just one foot in front of the other, and then suddenly you have a world premiere in your hometown with Kristen, So
Love that.
I love it. And yes, 10 minutes add up. And the other magic things that happen is you get to a point where 10 minutes, they aren't enough. And that's when you know you have something. You do 10 minutes at a time, and then one day it's an hour, and then you're done for it because you are so in it. Isn't that like the best feeling?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kristen, goal.
Okay, mine is going to be to find a moment to sing this weekend. So this is really interesting. I've recently heard that each one of us have voices that will calm our own nervous system. So our own voice was created in a tone, in a register that actually is like healing to our bodies. So I invite you to sing. No one else needs to hear. It can be in your car. It can be in your shower. And extra points if you make up a silly song about something that is driving you crazy. So you could be like, the economy is driving me crazy right now. Or you can be like, I don't want to answer that person's call. You can do whatever it is to get a feeling out. And it actually is really helpful if you sing about something that's bothering you. It can help you, in terms of neuroplasticity, see it from a different direction. And that can create a little lightness around it. So it can actually help you approach it differently. So I highly suggest singing, even if you don't think you have a good voice. Make up a song and enjoy being playful.
I don't want Spencer Pratt to be mayor.
Just like that.
Clap, clap, clap.
Right. Okay. It writes itself. Goal achieved. That was hilarious. Yes, if you're watching this, we are recording June 1st. We've got elections June 2nd. You might be listening to this June 4th and be like, God willing, Carrie was right. Anyway, I do try and stay apolitical, even though anybody who knows me knows that I am, for things like democracy and non-reality people in positions of power. We'll make an exception today. Anyhow, where can everybody learn more about each of you? Because this is, like I said, it's fun, right? Musicals are fun. And along with Kristen's goal, so much more gets accomplished if you're being playful and having fun. And then it's sort of like you're doing your 10 minutes and you're enjoying it so much. It's 4 hours later and you wonder why you are hungry because you forgot to eat, because you are having so much fun and so invested in what you were working on. Anyway, Nico, where can people learn more about you?
So you can follow me. I'm on Instagram at Stuff Nico Likes. You can go to nicojuber.com. Also, you can follow the show across social media platforms at Millennials Are Killing Musicals. Millennials does have two N's in it. So yeah.
Amazing. And Kristen, where can people learn more about you?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram at Hanggi Love, HANGGILOVE, or you can go to my website, which is kristinhanggi.com.
Great. And usually for the recaps, I do websites and LinkedIn, but for this week, it's going to be websites and Instagrams. If you go to thedebmethod.com/blog, you will get all of the links in the recap and the replay. And no, I did not forget about you, Carrie. Where can people learn more about you?
Yeah, on Instagram, it's Carrie_Murray. It's Carrie like the movie. Carrie. First a book and a musical. Full circle. Or you can find me at carrie-murray.com, and on YouTube, it's also Carry On with Carrie Murray.
Amazing. And like I just said, if you go to thedebmethod.com/blog, you will get all of the things. You can follow me at The Deb Method everywhere on social media. And I am live Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific, bringing together a panel for your entertainment and information, but also totally for ours. Because, I mean, seriously, what an amazing way to end a Monday. What final thought would you like to leave us with? Let's go to you first, Carrie.
Final thoughts. I guess, what's for dinner? I guess my final thought is, Deb, thank you so much for having us and hosting us. We've been working on this project for a while now, and it's been so great to see it evolve and to find people like you and your audience to continue to provide us with a platform to support us and to elevate us is really, I'm so appreciative of it. So thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you for being here. And I think, so I'm going to edit it so it's an actual final thought. But I think, supporting and elevating others, I mean, is that not what we're here for?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Okay, Kristen, final thought?
My final thought is that, just that art makes the world a better place to be. So thank you for supporting artists. Thank you for supporting us, and support. I like supporting and elevating the artists in the world.
Because that's the whole point. If we didn't have art, things would be really boring. And if art is not readily available, then it is up to us to create so others can have I don't have kids. This is just, I've heard art in the school has just gone downhill year after year after year. Is this accurate?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you have to seek out art and or create art to keep the art vibe, that should be part of all of our goals, right? Okay, tangent over-ish. Nico, final thought to you.
Yeah, I'll tack on another layer to what everyone's saying. I think support original art, right? I mean, I think we're seeing it with just how few new musicals that we have on Broadway right now, and how many few original musicals that we have kind of getting platformed. It's the same thing, the movie industry, TV, we're seeing a lot of things that people are familiar with. I think the things that tend to shift culture and really speak to, people in a really raw way tend to be new, right? And tend to be original works. So whether that's in musical theater, whether that's, one of my favorite things that I've seen in the past year is K-pop Demon Hunters, like just something that I've never seen before that is just new and original. So I would say keep supporting new and original, because if we lose that, I think we're just going to see the same stuff over and over again.
And I think that's great. And I think Carrie said this. I think it was Carrie who said this before. We're real people coming together, having conversations. Remember, AI cannot replace this. It cannot replace creativity. It cannot replace originality. So whatever it is that you do, that you love, that you enjoy, whether it's appreciating or creating art, new, original, fun, takes on all of the things, spend extra time enjoying art or putting it out in the world, because guess what? It'll make the other people's day, but it'll actually make your life better as well. So thank you again, Nico, Kristen, and Carrie, for joining me. Thank you for tuning into GoalChat. Again, catch me Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific, and or subscribe to GoalChat on your favorite podcast network. So go, be at one with the art. We know you want to, and we also know you can do it.